for the greater good.
You'll no longer be beloved celebrities.
So, I'll be honest with you. When The Boys was released in 2019, I didn't watch it right away. I mean, my peers at Marvelous Videos watched the show and there was a lot of buzz around it. But I got into the whole thing when the dust had settled. But once I finished the first episode, I couldn't stop watching. The craze went so far that I picked up the comics too. Then 5 years later, I have joined the growing community of die-hard fans who can't get enough of The Boys. No, not just the heroes, but also the supes. I'm sure that last phrase doesn't need an explanation. The show is pretty much expanding its universe with spin-offs. We just had Gen V, and the next season is around the corner. But there's one more spin-off that's pretty much been confirmed. Yep, The Boys Mexico is in the pipeline, and reports confirm that they have a solid story for the first episode. But much work is yet to be done. Recently, Eric Kripke, the mastermind behind The Boys, revealed some bittersweet updates on the upcoming show. And while it's gonna be a while before we see it, the prospects are delightful. So, here's a scoop straight from the horse's mouth. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. In a chat with Entertainment Weekly, Kripke revealed that they're still going over the things with the writer for the pilot. The writer in question? Gareth Dunnett Alcocer, the guy who penned Blue Beetle. Apparently, his pitch is killer, and the team is hyped about it. But Kripke warns there are still plenty of hoops to jump through. He's gotta write an amazing pilot and probably an amazing episode too, Kripke explained. I think he can, and he will, but we're a while away from dropping Easter eggs and setups. That's promising, isn't it? So, while we wait, it's clear that there's a lot of groundwork to cover before The Boys Mexico becomes a reality. Fingers crossed for some epic content coming our way. The big question, and kind of the only major prerequisite for greenlighting The Boys Mexico, is whether it can stand on its own without leaning on The Boys. In an era overflowing with reboots and spin-offs, it's refreshing to see this much thought going into a new series. It shows a commitment to quality over just riding on the coattails of a hit. This is particularly good news for fans, especially when you think about the mess Marvel got itself into. With its sprawling cinematic and TV universe, Marvel has thrown so much at viewers that it's tough to keep up with all the facts and characters. Thankfully, Disney CEO Bob Iger has vowed to prioritize quality over quantity moving forward. But that's the story for another time. Eric Kripke made it clear that he wants the spin-off to stand on its own. I don't want people to feel like they have to watch one show to get the other, Kripke said. To be honest, it's never a good feeling for the viewers when they feel like they have to do some mandatory groundwork and homework to watch something. I'm not sure if you know, but Denis Villeneuve also tried his best to ensure that one can watch his Dune Part 2 without having to watch the first one. And I believe that's a very important element you can have in a spin-off or a sequel. You shouldn't feel the burden of having to binge something else to watch the thing that you really want to watch. Who all are involved? Mexican superstars Diego Luna and Gael Garcia Bernal would be serving as executive producers, and they're even considering taking small on-screen roles. Plus, as I mentioned, Gareth Dunnett Alcocer, fresh off his work on Blue Beetle, is writing the series. Eric Kripke and Seth Rogen are also on board creatively, so expect the same outrageous, deliciously violent stuff as the original. Casting and directing details are still under wraps, but with this team, you can expect good things. What would be the connection between The Boys Mexico and the established universe? It's still a mystery if The Boys Mexico will stand alone or tie directly into The Boys and Gen V. Given the interconnected nature of the other stuff that we have seen, it's likely we'll see some crossover action. Gen V featured cameos from The Boys characters, so Mexico might follow suit. Since the main series is set in the US, it wouldn't be a stretch for American supes to pop down to Mexico or vice versa. Vought International, the shady corporation pulling the strings, could easily have a presence in Mexico, maybe through a sister company or a subsidiary. And the way Vought has been operating, it's easy to assume that they may want to spread their predatory wings in other parts of the world. Now that's also something that I like. I mean, If you think about Marvel and DC, most of the action happened in the US. It almost feels like whenever aliens or villains decide to attack Earth, the only piece of land they can possibly find is the US. Someone needs to expand the geography. Seriously. Now, Mexico is not in another hemisphere, but I welcome the move. So, yeah, although there's gonna be a huge wait and a few major hurdles will have to be taken care of, The Boys Mexico will happen, and that's enough for me as of now. What about you? And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone.